Championship. My name is Rob Wingert, and I'm here with Juniata men's volleyball head coach Glenn DeHaven. Glenn, it's our final match of the day. What are we looking forward to?
I'm excited for this one. I think this is a clash of two teams that have achieved very highly all year. Big physical teams. Should be exciting.
This is our 7-10 matchup. You have Benedictine Eagles in white and the Endicott Gulls in blue, and they look good in that blue and Kelly green, don't they, Glenn?
You are loving on those unis.
Hey, they look great, and they're led by George Chapel, who's rocking the colors just like his team would. I'll quickly run through the starters for both teams. Endicott's taking the floor first. So on the outside, you'll have Eric Roman and Bryn Lipton. On the middle, you will have Gabe Felicetti and Nicholas Kasperzik. At libero, you'll see our first two libero system of the day, with Justin Kegabine playing as the serve-receive libero and Vance Mallory as the defense libero. And on the right side, you will have a combination of Rafa Robert and maybe Eric Roman, depending on who lines up where. And our setter is Gabe Debbie De Benedetto. For the Eagles, we will see the offense run by all NACC selection. Where is his name there? Mike LeGros, apologies there. Jacob Grigo on the right side, joined by fellow All-American Chase Olson. The other middle is Tim Folliard. You've got outsides Martin Radomski and Nathan Klemish, libero Tom Samaras, and Kyle Vasquez as a D-spec for Mr. Klemish. Glenn, who are our officials for tonight?
Officials for tonight, R1, Rebecca Johannes, R2, Wayne Clark. The alternate official is Young Park. The line judges for tonight, Bruce Bradbury, William Dixon, Scott Walk, Brian Webb. Our official scorer, BJ Willard. Libero tracker, Damian Salas.
Glenn, we've had one battle of East meets West, or Midwest more appropriately today, in Fontbonne Messiah, and that was our first match. It went 5. Do you expect something similar as East meets West in this one?
I think this will be a very competitive match.
De Benedetto starts with a jump serve. LeGros gets his feet there. They go to the right side. Grigo swings high, dug by Mallory. De Benedetto shoots it out to Robert. He goes high tip, dug out there. LeGros in transition, back to Grigo. Grigo goes with the power tip off of Robert's hands, and the Eagles take an early lead.
That might be an and one there.
They call Grigo Kuba, which is Polish for Jacob. And they call him Kuba, but they could call him Colossus because that guy is massive, Glenn. Folliard serves, Kegabine handles, goes backside to Robert. Robert sneaks it in, dug by Vasquez in transition. They go back up to Grigo. He tips over the block, picked up by Kegabine again. Straight up to Robert. He swings deep. There. The goals look for a touch, and the Eagles lead 2-0. Glenn, we've seen 3 swings from Benedictine, and Grigo's taken all of them. Do you expect to see a heavy workload for him today?
I'm assuming we're going to see big numbers out of him.
Another quality pass. Casper. Oh, nope, that was Felicetti. Goes up. Grigo takes it over on first contact and gets a kill. So he is producing early, and he is letting him know about it through the net.
Middle blocker for Benedictine did a great job there being patient. A little bit higher of a middle ball from Endicott.
And speaking of that higher ball, Felicetti and De Benedetto misconnect there, and an early 4-0 lead for the Eagles on Tim Folliard serve. Endicott taking their time trying to group themselves up. Lipton and Felicetti have both played on this stage before, so I'm a little shocked to see the goals struggling early on. Set from De Benedetto is a little low. Roman couldn't do anything with it. And now the goals trail 5-0. Chapel encouraging his team to calm down. Glenn, what would you be telling your team right now?
It's a 1 point at a time. You got to control first contacts. We want quality swings.
They needed a point. They went to their man, Bryn Lipton, who scores on the Bic. Bryn has had a challenging year, dealing with some injury, 5th-year senior. Didn't get to play in their conference finals, so not as decorated this year as he's been in the past, but no questioning he's one of the country's most talented outside attackers.
This is a very veteran group of guys.
Rafa Robert goes up, serves hard, and goes just deep. We've talked about it in every match, but I think it's important to emphasize it in this one. Endicott is going to serve hard. They're one of the nation's top serving teams. I believe they're second in aces per set, and you're going to see them bombing away from the line. Grigo enters the float. Robert with a great pass. The grandma ball for Felicetti works there. It's a little bit slower, but when they connect, man, can he elevate, Glenn.
Yeah, he's one of the best jumpers we've seen today, and we've seen a bunch.
Absolutely. Felicetti is a frog jump frequenter, and a swing like that will have him back on the feet in no time. Poor toss on the jump serve, though. Never even gave himself a chance.
Not a great start for Endicott. They could definitely have to settle in here.
Yeah, it certainly seems that Benedictine is controlling the pace of this match, and they're playing the way they want to, putting pressure on Endicott to make plays. They're one of the more conservative serving teams in the tournament, and they're going to force Endicott to side out. Robert with another great pass. They go outside to Lipton. Lipton reaches high. It's closed by Olson. Second ball sent by Lipton. Olson, and that is Nathan Klemish making his first appearance, combining for the block assist. Olson really impressing early on with his control at the net.
Yeah, physical, dominating, getting his hands on the ball.
He must have been watching the Wentworth film from their match against NJCU. Lipton with another great pass. Good backside ball for Eric Roman, who gets a side out for the goals. Glenn, it's kind of interesting. We've seen teams that stay in system have a ton of success. The Endicott server has been great to start, but they still find themselves trailing on the scoreboard.
Yeah, good blockers, some miscues offensively.
LeGros squeezes Olson, but Olson couldn't find it there. I'm not sure if it was a block for Kasperzik or if it just found the net, but
I don't think that one quite cleared the tape.
No, good chance for Endicott to build some points here. The second piece that I talked about Coach Chapel with was just DiBenedetto's maturity this year. He's only a sophomore. It's his first year as a full-time starter, and he's trying to settle in this role, so maybe a little nerves early on. He leaves too much line for Klimish there. A great delivery from LeGros, and a great swing, and the Eagles now lead 9-4 in this Battle of the Birds. Olson now back to serve. He goes with the big jump delivery. Kegebine handles. Debbie squeezes Kasperzik. Grigo with a nice high ball. Klimish gathers, swings high. Debbie with the touch. Poor second touch from Roman, but they're able to get a transition attack. Kasperzik and Folliard battle. Step in set from Olson. Klimish swings high, but not high enough. Kasperzik and Debbie, and that's another transition ball for Endicott. They've done a good job playing in transition. They just need to settle in after that first 5-point run they gave up. They're playing even ball since.
Yeah, and a well-formed block there. They did a nice job, especially the setter getting his hands across to seal the net.
Bryn Lipton with the big toss. Goes into the seam, handled well. They squeeze Tim, and at 6'1", Folliard goes in and tools the 6'5" Nicholas Kasperzak. I talked to Coach Staple. Tim is a backup setter by trade, stepped up to play middle this year because he's just the kind of guy who's going to do whatever it takes for his team to succeed. LeGros serves wide. Endicott continues to trail by 4, and we have one of the biggest impact serving subs of the tournament checking in, Ian Smith of Endicott. He has an absolute cannon and is their aces per set leader and has had some big serving matches against high-quality opponents like Wentworth and Springfield. Great toss, great ball.
On cue.
And Glenn, I'm glad I said something. And the Endicott bench is fired up. It looks like they're working as coal miners, something native to my area of Pennsylvania. Really getting after it for Ian's serve here. Ian with another big ball. This one a Warren system. Backside to Klimish. He goes off speed, picked up by Felicetti. And Rafa Robert called for the double, rightfully so. Just showed up on him a little bit quick. Glenn, if that happens to one of your guys, what do you advise them to do if they don't think they're going to get the ball out clean overhead?
Do the best you can.
I've seen the double axe handle become a lot more popular, and I'd love to see one of those over the course of this week.
Especially a lot of the outdoor guys.
Absolutely. Klimish delivers the jump serve. Kegebine handles. Debbie goes with the grandma ball. Felicetti turns. Great dig by LeGros. And Grigo with one of the most inventive contacts I've seen this weekend. And he has been chatting to the net from start to finish. Him and Rafa Robert are exchanging words, and I love to see this intensity, even though it's the last match of the night.
Lots of yapping.
And I think I sided with Endicott there. That did not look like the most legal second ball I've seen. And Endicott is loving it. This is going to be intense, Glenn.
I am very excited.
So now back to serve. We have Debbie of Endicott, their nominal setter. And we have Benedictine in row 6. And my guess is we're going to see Kuba get a ball on the right side here. But doesn't make it across. And now we've got Tim Folliard, who was the one who started the 5-point run for Benedictine in the beginning of this match. Back to enter. He enters. Kegebine handles. Roman swings high. Dug out by Legros. Another high dugout. And it looks like we had a double call on the second ball. It looked all right to me, but
it's been fairly loose all day.
Not my range to make the decision.
Didn't expect that ball to be called.
Oh, for sure.
Blocked either way, though.
Yes, blocked either way is right. Rafa Robert now back to serve. He's another guy with a big arm back here for the goals. You'll hear me saying that a lot tonight. He enters a heavy one. Handled well by Radomski. Back out to Grigo. Grigo swings deep, misses hands, and the goals, I will tell you what, Glenn, I think every time Grigo touches the ball tonight, he is going to hear it from the Endicott bench after these early exchanges. They are a colorful and exciting group for sure.
And they got those great uniforms.
Yeah, colorful in uniform and in personality. Rafa with another big ball, again on Radomski. Great pass, and finds Olsen for the kill. I talked to Coach Staple, and both his outsides aren't the biggest offensive arms. You'll see a lot for Olsen in the middle, a lot for Grigo on the right, but he trusts those two outsides to put up good balls in serve receive, as well as the DS, Kyle Vasquez. So that might be the role you see from them.
Missed serve there from Grigo.
Another missed serve is right. Now, we talked about Benedictine not being the most aggressive serving team. They've had a couple early misses, and a lot of balls land on libero Justin Kegebine. If you're Coach Staple, what are you encouraging your team to do from the service line?
I think we got to stick to our game plan. If you're Endicott, they like to be aggressive. You got to stay that way. You got to keep playing that way. I think it'll pay off as the match kind of wears on.
And at 15-11, Benedictine leads into our first media timeout. We just saw another backside run from a middle in Chase Olsen. He's really showing off the reason he was an ABC All-American selection and showing off his versatility. We've seen him score on the one. We've seen him score on the gap. We've seen him score on the slide. What is it about the Midwest programs that bring so many of these backside runs for their middles, Glenn?
I think it's just about being versatile. It's about trying to fill all the lanes, and when you have big guys that are good athletes, it makes it a little bit easier for them to, move around the net a little bit. I think that's something we didn't see from NJCU, which caused problems for them. So practicing these other runs, being able to get some of these big guys the ball, I think is really important.
Absolutely, and I think it is one of the most underutilized facets in the men's game. You see it a ton in the women's game, and we have so many basketball converts, especially at the Division III level. I think coaches need to do a better job of opening their minds and taking advantage of that versatility offensively. My alma mater, Kyle Wisner, ran a slide about 1,500 times, and that's how he got about 1,500 kills, and it was just a base run that we had part of our offense. So when I've seen other schools play and they don't have any middles who run it, I'm always astonished.
Yeah, I think some of it's, too, just belief in the system, having guys that are capable. We do the same at Juniata. Those guys are my James Brown guys, right? Hardest working man in showbiz. They got to be up in transition. Otherwise, they're hearing it from me. So it's about creating opportunities for your team.
Yep, and speaking of showbiz, we have our game back in business with Martin Radomski back to serve. Let's see if they can stay off Kegebine from the line, as they've gone at him a few too many times for my liking. They stay well off Kegebine, Glenn, as that ball trails about 4 to 5 feet out of bounds. Another coach's point. And again, on the left side of the court. Something about that bench is you can't serve this way after a timeout. Eric Roman with a deep breath. He challenges Radomski, another quality pass. They go to the outside. Clemens, Debbie with a touch. He gets around his middle. He goes to Lipton out of system. Lipton takes a great high swing, and he is letting Legros know through the net that he is too small, and Christian Staple is unhappy about something with his defensive setup over there. Having watched Endicott's conference final, having Lipton back on the outside in such a dynamic pin really opens things up.
Pass by the middle there.
A great one, too. Debbie with another good touch at the net. LeGros dishes in transition to Olsen, and Olsen scores again. You are going to see a lot of middle runs. I think it might not reach the level of Nate Bowman, but we're going to see Olsen take a lot of swings tonight.
I agree, and I think the way he's playing, you got to keep getting him the ball.
Absolutely, and Debbie doing a great job, the Endicott setter, of getting some touches on the big outside for Benedictine, slowing that offense down. Rafa Robert with another great pass. Kasperzik with a kill. Benedictine can't quite chase it down. It looked like Tim Folliard had actually touched.
That's what I thought I saw, too.
That's why I was holding my call. I thought we might get a call, but Debbie, great job shielding the ball, shielding his hand, and dishing a nice high ball as the Endicott middle is seeing some success after that early run of misfortune. Lipton high toss, finds the net, free side out. Mike LeGros, the strongest server for Benedictine, missed his first one. He's using a float serve coming from left back to right back, even though he's a setter, and it's definitely an interesting motion to see. Robert a bit out of system. They go D-ball to Roman. He swings high, dug out by Samaras. LeGros gets there. Oh, and he absolutely shoves that ball across the court. What an impressive set, Glenn, with tempo and pace against the flow.
Wow. Really nice set. Tough ball to hit, though. Grigo sprays it wide.
I know it was an error, but man, I will be thinking about that set next time he comes all the way across, and I'm sure the Endicott middles will as well. They're not going to be able to shade towards the outside, even as the pass might take him across the court. Trailing by 2. We now have Ian Smith back to serve. He picked up an ace his first time back there and created some good pressure. Let's see if he can have some similar success. The Endicott bench has their axes ready, and they're going to have to put them back down and head into the coal mine a different day. Ian Smith with the error. Klimish with the toss on to Kegebine. Kegebine with a great pass. We see Felsetti run behind and score. So we have dueling middle slides going on in this one, Glenn. I love to see it.
We've seen it a couple times today. We saw it from Fontbonne as well.
I talked to Coach Chapel last week, and they've been using Felsetti in the middle and on the right, and they said they just want to take advantage of his elite athleticism and move him around, and a slide is certainly a great way to do so. LeGros gets the one-on-none for Tim Folliard, and that's his second kill. Every point he gets them is a huge bonus for what they do on the offensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. That was a great swing. Felsetti was guessing the ball was going back to Grigo there.
Folliard enters. Kegebine handles. Debbie gets hands on it. Great Bick run, dug out by LeGros. Poor out-of-system set, and Grigo definitely not happy with where that location was. He was getting ready to get forward, and once again, the Endicott bench is all over him each time he touches it.
Game's tightening up a little bit here as we get deeper into the set.
Absolutely, but the serving line has stayed loose, and I've been beyond impressed with Benedictine's level of receive. These guys are dropping balls on Mike LeGros' head left and right and making his job of distribution very easy. That one goes wide. Grigo back to serve, and they are the first team to hit 20 in the opening stanza of our last match of the day. Rafa Robert passes to the outside, low, tight, and I couldn't quite tell what happened. The tip caught the tape, and I couldn't tell if it hit the blocker or
I think it actually got touched on the way down.
Okay.
I think Olsen thought the ball was in.
Okay, well, it's a break for Endicott off a great pass, a little bit less than stellar set by Debbie, and they earn a side out and try to close this gap to 1 here with Felsetti back at the line. His first toss wasn't great, his second one was quality, and is a big-time server for him. Great toss. Radomski handles. Good squeeze run, but Kasperzak fronted him from start to finish. Glenn, that's got to be some scouting work by Coach Chapel. They were a bit out of system. They know Olsen's the go-to guy in this rotation, and Kasperzak never left his sight.
Yeah, and I get forced in the middle a little bit there. I think that was just a good read, good block.
Felsetti with another good ball, another great pass. They go back. Debbie makes the dig. Robert goes with the hands again. A tough ball for Roman to see. Man, I get trying to keep both your pins involved, but Roman's watching that come over his shoulder. That's a tough angle to receive a set from.
That is. I still think we got to keep that ball in play and live to defend another ball.
Yeah, I guess it's just too far, but I would have tried to go maybe a high bump set, especially with Lipton out on the outside and having him deal with something a little out of system. Rafa Robert makes up for it with a great pass. They go out to Lipton, closed by Olsen, kept alive. Lipton chases it towards the stands. Kegebine sends over the free. Now we've got a transition attack. LeGros gathers hard. They stay on Olsen. Kuba steps in to set. A nice high ball, a good high swing, and it blows up Kegebine. Endicott looking for the double, but the way this match has gone, I think that's more than fair as a no call from Grigo's hands. Benyu, 22, Endicott, 19, and Coach Chapel taking a timeout to gather his thoughts and gather his troops.
He's got to calm the guys down a little bit. The energy here is super high. They're very talented. They're doing a pretty decent job in serve receive. I'm surprised we're not getting a little bit more middle beam though.
Absolutely, especially with the offensive side that Felsetti can produce with his elevation. But you're also running against the second-team All-American in Olsen. And I think the other one is Eric Roman's had a great year for them, and they haven't really been able to get him going. He hasn't seen a ton of balls in the system yet. Taking a lot of out-of-system swings off of Debbie's hands or from another setter. So maybe trying to get him going and feeling confident with a good in-system run will be a big change for them. If you're Coach Staple, what are you telling your team right now as they try to close this one out?
Stay aggressive. The energy seems to be helping them and playing in their favor. I love what their setter's doing. He's kind of chucking the ball around and getting everybody involved. They did a good job early getting the middles going. Now you're getting some popping, so watch him to start going over the top on maybe some gap go or even reversing flow to Grigo on the back.
And he's faked it one time, but Mike is a big lefty, and I wouldn't be surprised with him in the front row if he tries to close this match out with a big swing on two with one of those option balls, because we've talked about all day. Setters love taking their swings, and it's a great momentum builder for the team.
Especially in transition.
The Endicott bench huddled up. They're trying to distract the server. He finds the court. He finds Robert. Robert with another great pass. One-on-one for Lipton. LeGros makes the dive block, and he gets the solo. His presence at the net is LeGrowing and LeGrowing against a guy like Lipton. 23-19. Benedictine stays in control. Radomski enters. Lipton with a great pass. Backside for Roman. And there it is. A little bit of a more in-system run. It was still a little bit past the pin, but he's able to adjust out of serve receive.
Yeah, a little bit wide, but a good swing, good adjustment.
Absolutely. And Benedictine takes a timeout after a 1-point side out.
Rob, what do you think Endicott's going to talk about in this huddle?
So if I were Coach Chapel, I would talk to them about sticking to what's made them successful so far this year. I think too often late in games, teams get a little bit tight and they change up what they've done. Endicott has gotten here because they rip from the service line. If you miss at 23-20, that's all right. We still have 2 more sets to play. But the opportunity to build some momentum and energy with a big serve from Eric Roman's important. I believe that Benedictine's in rotation 3 here. The setter's live. They've got their O1 up, and they've got their M1 up in Chase Olsen. So really pinching hard to double on Chase. Debbie, who just rotated the front row, has gotten enough good touches on Klimish where if they leave him on an island, I'm not certain it's going to be a kill. So maybe sticking hard on that middle attack and the D-ball, you can get out there. Grigo's a big physical kid. They're not running it super fast. So I look for them to pinch Lipton hard and really try to double hard on Olsen, who, with the level of service Benedictine's had, is probably going to try to be involved here.
Yep. First contact being important.
And you can see why my timeouts take all 1 minute and 15 seconds when I'm out there on match day, because I'll talk the whole time. Shout out to Shane McGrady. I'll take another card for delay a game next year too, bud. Here's Roman back at the line. High toss. Looks like he took a little off it. Ball goes out. And Clemish shoots just wide. So like we said, they had the hard double in the middle.
Yeah.
Clemish had the one-on-one.
I saw a touch call too. They had up ref waved it off.
And I think he waved it off as well. I think he might have been a little bit of a panic there, but just a bit wide on that swing. Roman back again. A good ball on Samaras, a little bit out of system. That one was used off of Debbie. Great play by Clemish. That touch, there was no question about it. Benedictine goes back for their first set point in set one here. Chase Olson.
One of their better servers.
Absolutely, yeah. Big arm back there. He puts in a tough one. Kegabine handles. Kasperzak floats. Dug by Olson. LeGros gets there well. Clemish in transition. Dug by Kegabine. It's tight. And a great battle between Folliard and Benedetto. Back out to Clemish again. High tip. Picked up by Roman. Debbie with tempo pushes it out. And Lipton with what I would call a slip tip. Left hand underneath the outside hand of the blocker and finds the line.
Sneaks it by the block there.
Man, they were trying to run a lot of tempo there, and great job of Lipton making that ball work even though it was a little low and tight. Lipton enters. LeGros takes a look. Outside. Oh, not the swing they wanted. Debbie pushes it all the way out to Robert. Robert goes and challenges that hand hard. Really heady play from Rafa Robert there. And Christian Staple takes his time out with it now at 24-23. This will be their third or fourth set point. Glenn, I'll put the shoe on your foot. If you're Christian Staple, you've been in control this whole match. Your team's been playing well, but right now you're finding ways to struggle to score. Grigo's down and Olson's down. What's the plan?
I think we got to work on getting a quality swing here. And the last couple of points, right, they've just been keeping balls in play and giving the ball back to Endicott so they can run offense and trying to defend. But you have to get a good first contact. If you don't, nice high ball so that we can get a quality swing, try to terminate it, play some men's volleyball here, attack the block, get a kill.
Yeah, and the transition offense in Endicott has been really impressive down here the stretch. If they're able to get either a free ball or a quality dig, I'd really look for them to try to expose the middle, get Nick Kasperzik in a transition run against the undersized Tim Folliard and tie this thing up. So I think those are two good things for the fans at home to watch for as we come out of this timeout.
Absolutely.
And if you're Coach Chapel, there's no one you'd rather have back to serve. Your fifth-year senior, multiple-time All-American Bryn Lipton. You know the moment's not too big for him. He's played in the quarterfinal. He's played in big matches. He's going to put something quality in without sacrificing too much aggressiveness.
What do you think on this tight ball? Setter taking us.
Oh, no is right. So this one ends at 25-23. Benedictine takes a 1-0 lead, and we will have some thoughts from Coach Chappell here in a minute. We'll be right back.
George, tough opening set for your team offensively, only hitting 138. What are some of the changes you think you need to make in this next set?
Gotta get some different matchups out there. They started in set 2 and 3 against Dominican, so that threw us off a little bit. So hopefully get some different matchups out there, serve a little bit better, have a little bit more confidence. We were trying to be too dumb in that set.
Okay. You think your guys have a little anxiety right now, coming out just really pumped up because of the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I think they're a little tense. It's been a couple of years since everybody's been here, but I think they're a little tense coming out, so hopefully come out with a little different show on this one.
Awesome. Good luck, Coach.
We are back here in the Salem Civic Center for set 2 of Endicott and Benedictine, our last match of the day in the first round of the 2021 NCAA Division III Men's Volleyball National Championship. Glenn, George Chapel talked to us about creating some different matchups. If you were in his shoes, what matchups would you want to see for some of your premier hitters like Felicetti and Lipton?
Well, I think if you get Felicetti on the second middle from Benedictine, you're going to get some pretty good matchup. It looks like they'll get him for one row here, and then he'll get Olson for the other two. I think Lipton's got to stay hot and prove that he's that graduate senior with all this experience, former All-American, and I think Endicott will be fine. I expect this match will go longer than 3 sets.
I think the bigger one that I'm looking at here is with Endicott starting in rotation 2 or 6, depending on which system you use. Eric Roman will be matched up with Martin Radomski. He's only 5'10", so maybe a lot of balls out to the right side, and Bryn Lipton in row 1. Early good pass for Rafa Robert. They go out to the pin with a lot of pace. High off Grigo. Oh, Samaras almost had it.
Wow,
laid out, sacrifice all. Great touch. But that is the most pace we've seen Endicott use to the pin and system yet. So maybe that'll be the next change of forcing these blockers to work side to side faster.
Really nice high swing there, even though it was one-on-one block. Grigo got a nice touch, but a little bit out of his reach.
Yeah, the big Colossus couldn't quite lock that one down. Debbie with the jump serve. Handled. Backside. Grigo.
That's a heavy ball.
Yeah, I mean, we got to start the Cinder Block Club or something, the CBC, for all these guys we've seen just dropping hammers on the ball. Here's the rotation 1 matchup we talked about. Folliard enters, and we have Lipton versus Radomski out on this pin. I'd expect to see some back sets here, but instead, Roman goes high off Grigo's hands, and they are going right at the big man out there.
I like it. Keep attacking the block. Good things will happen.
And they're staying with that tempo. It's only 3 points, but if that's a consistent sign to come, I think we'll see some offensive uptick for the goals. Lipton with the tough ball in. LeGros takes a great peek, creates the one-on-one. Good up. Debbie with the bump set. It's tight, but another great attack off Grigo. Absolutely. If they didn't call that touch, Glenn, we might have had to get up from the table and make sure they knew about it.
I think head coach George Chapel would have let him know.
Yeah, he is not shy to let him know, and he is not shy with the sock game either. Some great goals on those light blue socks of his. Lipton with another heavy ball, out of system. Ooh. Grigo with a bit of a chunky delivery, but Debbie goes into the middle, too tight. Olson gets a grab, Debbie gets his hands on again. Roman with the power tip across the net, takes the middle out with it somehow. And Lipton with another transition dig. Debbie gets his forearms on it. Free ball back. They're going to want to clean up that transition offense. Olson goes in. Oh, it's up, covered by LeGros. A power tip, dug by Mallory. Goes to the outside. Rafa Robert with the roll shot. Oh, my gosh, what a rally from start to finish. Coach Chapel telling his team to settle down yet again. What a cover by Mike LeGros. It looked like Felicetti had shut down Olson, but the awareness for LeGros to keep that ball alive, impressive there, and continue to rally a couple more times. Lipton, another hard ball in at Samaras. Off tempo, and I think
might have been a double.
Martin Radomski might have used 6 or 7 touches and a lift there. Eric Roman really making an early impact on this one. Endicott playing up. Lipton throws it deep. Glenn, if there was one word I would use to describe this match so far, it'd be frantic. We've seen long runs. Ben Yu went up 5-0 early. This one was 5-1 early. It's really been back and forth.
Yeah, roller coaster ride of energy.
Absolutely. Sure. Good job by Debbie keeping it alive. Felicetti tips to Grigo, takes out the D-ball. They go out. Great touch by Roman on Radomski. And looks like a miscommunication between Kegabai and Robert about who is supposed to take that ball. In an ideal world, your libero picks that up so your outside can get a better transition in, right?
Yeah, I think that's just Rafa being a little bit aggressive.
I think so, too. Grigo goes at Kegabai. A little bit out of system. Roman waits on it, swings high. Self-cover by Felicetti, who's really deep there. Robert goes in and challenges the block. Gabe Felicetti must have covered that ball 19 or 20 feet deep into the court, Glenn.
Didn't get an approach, but he was engaged. He played defense, helped his team out.
We are seeing these goals flock to all different areas of the court despite position right now. It's pretty interesting, but they're working hard to keep balls alive. Felicetti with an aggressive toss. Really heavy overpass that was not dealt with in full. And Radomski misses his chop shot, and it looked like there might have even been some net activity up there when LeGros went up for the joust. LeGros talked to the official about the net, potential violation. Rafa Robert trying to get in on this conversation. He has enjoyed being a Chatty Cathy so far in this match.
Definitely lots of communication, good and bad.
Felsetti with another big toss on the great serve. Vasquez handles well. Olsen with the back one slide footwork and catches Kasperzak in the way up, and he gets a deep tool. I'll tell you what, just on the face alone, Chase Olsen almost looks like a stretched out version of Ian Parsizik from Messiah. I'm seeing it. I know that face, and it's because we watched it play earlier. Radomski serves. That was probably seams left, and once again we see Robert being a little aggressive, jumping in, and couldn't quite get his platform where he needed it to for that serve receive ball. Benedictine really letting him hear it. Big serve, better job on that one by Robert. Good high swing, and Eric Roman, we're seeing him involved more already offensively in this set.
Veteran swing. I like that he stayed high. Easy tool off the block.
He was 2, 3, and 7 in the first set. Not the production you're looking for from your right side. And I'd say he's probably got 2 or 3 kills and without an error so far. Good ball in. Klimish handles. LeGros goes back. D-ball. Oh, it's stuck by Mallory. And the ball ended up traveling outside the antenna, I believe, and I'm not sure if Debbie thought it was going to stay. But if I were him, I would have tried to sneak under the net and bring it back. Yeah. Even though it wasn't locationally great, there was a ton of height. He might have even been able to run a D-ball back to Roman on it.
Yeah, another heavy ball from Grigo. Good swing.
Absolutely. Great serve by Olsen. The overpass comes, and Folliard, as always, taking advantage of any opportunity, and that takes him to 3-0-3 on the night. You know what that means?
He's close.
He's close. Olsen, another high toss. And it leads to a deep delivery. Endicott stays in control, leading 7-9. Rafa Robert back to serve. Rotation 2 or rotation 6 for the Eagles. And we still haven't seen Mike LeGros unleash a swing here. And Glenn, I'm going to make my call. I think it happens on this ball.
All right.
Probably not now. Out to Klimish. And he catches Kasperzak when he's bringing his hands back across the net. And that is a nice swing, challenging the middle block, that low seam, a little bit more intelligent than we saw in the last match.
Definitely. That was...
Robert handles poorly. Roman with a nice bump set. Lipton gathers his feet. Just a little too aggressive on that swing. And the Eagles tie it up at 9 after a slow start.
Yeah, we got a ball game.
Absolutely. LeGros back again. Floats in. Robert high to the center of the court. Debbie gets the feet there. Lipton goes high. And Grigo is really, really getting abused out there on the right side.
Yeah, it's a big block. He's a little bit high right now.
He might be too focused on that vertical explosion versus penetrating across and taking up good horizontal space. And Endicott clearly has made that a focus because they've scored 4 or 5 points off that outside hand of his.
Yeah.
Ian Smith, good ball in. Klimish with a great pass. A good pace out. Folliard dug, and then we see the backup setter put it. Debbie with the block. Puts up on Grigo. Klimish with another out-of-system swing and ends up just deep. Great job from Debbie with really good handwork. It's always difficult to deal with a lefty on the outside, but he lined up well and really pressed back into the court.
Yeah, he's done a good job sealing the net and getting his hands across.
Absolutely. Smith with another serve. A great entry. Radomski with an excellent pass. Out to Grigo again. Felicetti keeps it alive in system. Lipton goes high over, takes out the setter. Tommy with the dish. Another tip, and Glenn, the first rule of tipping is beat the block. And the second rule of tipping, yeah, exactly. If you can't beat the block, you better beat the net. And he didn't beat either there. And that is another point. And Ian Smith, once again, putting some points together for Endicott with his great service pressure. Good ball in. LeGros gets his feet there, flicks it back. Dug well by Roman. A lot of time. Transition big run. That was touched. Oh! Glenn, I don't know if you saw what I saw, but I was not a huge fan of that 4 call.
Wow, yeah.
But I can already tell you, after the first set, I think Coach Chapel talked to the guys about controlling what they can and not worrying about the officiating, because they're not making a big deal about it, and they're moving on to the next point, which is something they struggled with a little bit in set 1.
Yes.
Plymouth serves in. Kageban with a great pass. Debbie goes up, forces it through. LeGros back with some pace. Kageban digs. Felsetti with the power tip. Dug out. Another good push to the right side. Grigo digs. Grigo sets out. Lipton with a tip. Middle rotates over, picks it up. Radomski. And his nickname may be Debbie, but there's nothing little about him. A great block from De Benedetto there. And I'll tell you what, it's always great to get a good block in before you go back to serve. You're feeling good about yourself. The testosterone is flowing, and let's see if he really unleashes one here. Heavy arm, but a great pass. Grigo went with the tip. Grigo goes with another tip. It's dug out. Oh! And we call a lift on the initial Grigo throw. And the Endicott bench is loving that one. And Endicott had kept that one alive after. Great defensive awareness. Christian Staple taking the timeout, trailing 10-14. Grigo struggled to get going in this set offensively, Glenn. What would be your message either to him or setter Mike LeGros as you try to get his efficiency back up?
He's a big physical guy. I think he needs to stay high. He needs to attack the ball. I would like to see more swings and less tips. He looked like he struggled a little bit in row 1 over here, being left-handed on hitting on the left side. But just continue to give the big fella the ball. And that's how they got here. He's the All-American.
As a setter, in my experience, when you've got an athlete as dynamic and strong as Grigo is, I think they're trying to force the pace a little bit too much. We've seen him tip a few balls. We've seen him ahead of some, behind some others. When it's out of system, I think they should just throw it high and trust him to take care of business. Even with a guy like Lipton in front of him, there haven't been many specimens in the gym looking like Grigo. And if you can let the big fella go up and operate, I think we'll see a few more of those big swings that you're looking for.
Yeah, and once again, I think that's where learning and teaching how to attack a block becomes really effective, at the higher level.
Absolutely, and we've watched Endicott settle in this match a little bit. The offense still isn't quite clicking, but defensively they're definitely picking up more balls and presenting themselves with more transition attacking opportunities. Row 6 here. If Bennu can get an early side out, Olsen comes back in, and they've scored a lot of points when he's been at the net, so this is an important one. Good pass. We go out to Radomski. It's kept alive. And 4 touches is called. I was counting them out myself, and I landed in the same spot. But the right side block for Endicott is making a difference. And I'll tell you what, another person making a difference over on the bench is Will Perry. Coach Chapel said he's the big energy guy, and you can see him after every point having a good time and getting the guys riled up over there.
Not great hand contact there, missing wide. But a good run. Gave him a nice little lead. Got a side out here, first ball.
Absolutely, and Benedictine is going to look to close the gap with Olsen back in the game. Their middle who's made a big impact. And Grigo, we talked about his handwork being a little subpar earlier. I can tell you, I watched him reach across him over about a foot there. Right hand turned in. They went for the tool swing, and he was not having it. A great adjustment by him in the second set.
Interesting you're not taking advantage of the matchup out here on the right.
They tried to take advantage. I think Debbie's set was a little too far off. Lipton was trying to get ahead of himself, ends up underneath it and swings a little deep. And just like that, the Eagles are back within 2. Robert high to the center. A squeeze run. Felsetti throws it. And I am sure Follier would love to have that one back. Kuba with a great chase. And when I talked to Coach Staple, he compared Grigo to a golden retriever. Just always full of energy, chasing everything down, shagging every ball at full speed. The kid goes 110% no matter what.
Good for him. We're always looking for kids like that as coaches.
Lipton serve, carries deep. A free side out for the Eagles, and the gap remains 2. Grigo back to serve. Rotation 6 for Endicott. Float serve in. Great pass from Robert. Felsetti hangs. Oh, great dig from Tommy Boy. And it goes back out to Robert. He challenges hands. He finds the back corner. And that is a hard-earned side out. But I'll tell you what. Tommy Samaras was a first-team All-NACC selection, and you can see with digs like that. Great touch, or great swing by Felicetti, and he just swallowed it with his chest and kept that point alive, where we've seen that ball land 9 times out of 10 today.
That was a great swing by Felicetti.
A lot of discussion about that one. It was pretty clearly in from our viewpoint. I know it's tough when you're right there on the bench, but I didn't think there should have been much discussion.
And they're caught in a little bit of a rut from the service line right now.
Maybe it was a stall strategy because Felsetti certainly did not put his best ball up there, and if that's a free timeout for the Benedictine guys, they'll take it. Klimish checks back in, giving them some more size on the right side to match up with Roman. And we have Radomski back to serve. Great reach. Kegebine handles. Debbie with too much space on that one ball. And there it is, Glenn. We've been waiting all day, and Mike LeGros unleashes on his first one in transition. Great swing there.
Love seeing that. That's hard to defend. Most teams don't have somebody that does that.
I'll tell you what, I'd give my right arm to be left-handed, Glenn.
If you gave your right arm, you would be left-handed.
That's exactly right. Nice high swing from Roman. Tommy keeps another one alive. High ball in transition. Klimish, dug by Kegebine. A big transition run, and Bryn Lipton is letting them know that he liked that set from Debbie. He might run the best BIC in this tournament. I would hard press him against Nisley on it.
Great swing.
Great transition run. Roman with the big delivery. Great serve, kept alive. LeGros gets there. The bump set is a little more out of system than we would like. Lipton dig in transition. We get it out to Robert with pace. And Mike LeGros grabs another one, and Benedictine is loving it.
Wow. I don't have much else. Wow.
He continues to use that left hand diving in. And I can't even say low seam because it's a pretty high seam, but LeGros is elevating and taking away Rafa Roberts' preferred shot into that cross. Lipton, great pass. Debbie over excited on that dump, catches the net on his follow through. Great idea, just a little bit too much.
Surprised you're not seeing more middle here. That matchup, the size difference, I think would be beneficial to Endicott.
So I think what has been happening is on some of these tight balls, Debbie has gone chest up to the net trying to squeeze the middle, but he's then giving them either too much room to work, pushing them a few feet off the net, or no room to work at all and locking them in. And that's a really tough thing as a setter to get that spacing when your chest is up. So I almost what I would suggest is go up with just that right hand and use your 4 fingers to keep it on your side of the net and keep that natural spacing for your middles.
Yeah, you could even go to a pin with that.
Yeah, but what do I know? I'm over here talking to you, not coaching on the sideline today. 18-18, Benedictine trying to go up 2-0. Endicott trying to tie it at 1-1. What do you think is the biggest X factor down the stretch of this set, Glenn?
I think it's still first contact once again. Good hand contact from the service line. Good passing and serve receive, giving your setters options here.
For me, if I had to keep an eye on something, it'd be Benedictine's ability to attack out of system. Tommy Samaras has done a great job keeping more balls alive in this set. A few excellent digs after only having one in set 1. With that being said, Benedictine struggled to have some of those big swings. They don't have the outsides necessarily to terminate out of system. They haven't been able to get Grigo going with that pace. So if they're able to generate those digs after Endicott swings, who's taking care of that point for them? Olsen enters, finds the net, and a left side coach's point. Glenn, we've seen it all night.
There's something about this side.
You might have to wear the darker uniform, but you get a free point after a timeout every once in a while. And George Chapel is thrilled with himself after that one. Rafa Robert back to serve, leading by 1. Klimish with a great pass. LeGros goes up, and a wrist-away swing into the center of the court. Great choice from Klimish with Debbie Seelan to the line.
I also think that second swing that the setter had a couple plays ago really stuck with this Endicott team because they did not do a good job getting to the pin to block that ball.
Lipton went up with him right away. Debbie gets there. Great tempo. Off the outside hand of Grigo. He keeps trying to sell it, but Lipton is living on that right hand. In our gym, Glenn, we joke that we're going to take the right side to the tattoo artist, and we're going to just put Tool Me across those hands. Ian Smith, another heavy ball, tight from Klimish. Roman digs. Smith sets a nice out-of-system ball. Power tip from Lipton, dug out by LeGros. Folliard forced to set. Grigo takes it. Oh, great chase down by Smith. Rafa showing off the hands now. Lipton goes high, challenges all three. It's up. What a great dig. He takes it over on two. Grigo with a heads-up play.
Wow.
Endicott trying to signal that ball was down, but everything I saw on the dig from Tommy Samaras said that ball was up. A great touch and rangy play from the first team all-conference libero.
Yeah, a little bit of panic when that ball came back over and 1-2.
That's another beach move. He was squared up, threw it over. It was nice and clean, something you might see out in the Chicago beach courts with the AVP. Felicetti hangs, tries to tip. Even if it had gone over, I think Samaras is all over it, and Felicetti's got to stay aggressive and get on the same page as Debbie here. He's too physical not to be swinging hard in the middle. Lipton passes. Debbie takes it out to him, a nice high ball. He goes, swings high, self-covered. Grigo paint brushes it to the deep part of the court, but he scores on the overpass. And Endicott is going to take their second timeout here and talk this one over. We're going to take a quick break and be back to you in 1 minute. We're back here at the Salem Civic Center towards the end of set two. Benedictine leading 1-0 in the match and 22-20 on the scoreboard. And we're still waiting. Coach Chappell and Brent Lipton having a few more words as they attempt to side out of rotation two. Endicott's got both Felicetti and Lipton live in this rotation. I'm a little surprised they're struggling to get the side out.
Especially with the size matchup, jumping ability of Felicetti.
Maybe they'll try to get Felicetti on something behind. It worked earlier, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it again. Instead, they keep it straight down the middle. It looked like a little more tempo there, and a great wrist-away swing from Felicetti. One of the few swings Samaras hasn't been able to handle today. A good front row rotation. You've got Roman, Lipton, and Felicetti with Benedetto back to serve. Samaras with a great pass. LeGros dishes to the middle. And Folliard with the deep tool on Felicetti. Man, Tim Folliard making plays when it's been asked of him. He's now back to serve again. Good floater. Robert passes well. Float. Power tip from Felicetti. A miscommunication on who was supposed to take the overpass. One of them catches the net. And that is not what you want to do with that ball, Glenn.
Yeah. Super aggressive. You get it. Surprised the communication is not better between a couple of guys that have played together for a long time.
What rule do you use in your gym for overpasses?
Let the middle hit it.
We're a right-hand rule, so whoever's right hand, they get to take first crack at it. Free ball from Endicott. Benedictine looks to finish out this set point. Lipton and Falsetti, we're talking about the chemistry. They certainly lead on it there. A great double block without the switch and rotation one. And once again, we find Bryn Lipton serving at the end of the set, the guy you'd want back there.
Yeah. Hopefully he forgot about the end of last set.
Rotation 5, Mike LeGros got both his All-Americans in Chase Olson and Mr. Kuba. Let's see where he tosses this ball. Great pass. Goes to Olson. Olson ends it, and Benedictine takes the set, leading 2-0. What a great run from Olson there in Bowman's corner.
Wow.
We're going to have head coach Christian Staple over in a minute to share his thoughts on the match and see what Benedictine needs to do to close this one out.
And more than 800 sites across the country each year.
Coach, guys up 2-0, great competitive set there. One of the biggest differences we saw, your libero Tommy Samaras with 3 big digs, keeping balls alive. What kind of energy does it bring to the team when he's able to dig out some of those big swings and keep balls alive?
No, yeah, that's a great question. I think for us and Tommy, he's really, like I mentioned before, he's our glue guy, and when he's on and he's good, that really helps us. And we talk about, just not being insane of keeping the ball off the floor, making it an actual thing, and making sure we're doing our best to keep the ball off the floor no matter what. So when we do a good job of that, we can transition, and we're in a good spot. So
Jacob Grigo, he's had great volume offensively, but not quite the efficiency you're looking for. So as you're trying to close this one out, I'm sure he's going to be one of your go-to guys as always. What adjustment might you make to try to get him going a little bit?
Yeah, I think that's something that we're talking about right now. We've been trying to find our footing this entire set offensively. And then, obviously for us, Grigo's a big component of that offense. So if we can find our spots to find him some one-on-ones and things like that, I think he'll start to pick up and be a lot better. So hopefully we can keep it rolling through this last set, and we'll see what we got. But we knew it's going to be a battle coming in. I expect nothing but anything else besides a battle in this third set right now. So hopefully we got to keep pushing right now.
Awesome. Best of luck in set 3.
Good luck, Coach.
We are back to you live from the Salem Civic Center. Quick reminder, my name is Rob Wingert, and I am here with Juniata men's volleyball head coach Glenn DeHaven. We are currently looking at something of a little bit of a surprise, one of the closer, or anticipated closer matchups of the day of Benedictine and Endicott. Benedictine leads 2-0 right now. Glenn, what in the box score are we looking at that has you surprised that the score is at 2-0?
I think Endicott hitting 125, though Benedictine's only hitting 141. It just doesn't seem that way. I mean, it's definitely been surprising.
I feel like in some of the big points, we've seen some bad breaks from Endicott. Looking at the end of set 2, they had that overpass they didn't take care of. Falsetti's been forced into a lot of power tips where we're normally seeing him take some big bounce swings. So maybe a little bit, and I was about to say it, and we are. We're going to see a different utilization of Gabe Falsetti here. We're going to see him out on the right. Coach Chappell's made this change a few times this year. In set 5 against Wentworth, we saw Falsetti on the right, and we've also seen it in set 3 of their conference championship. He is such a dynamic athlete. When I talked to George about it, he said some of his right side approaches with that long run-up, he can get touched up near 12 feet. So maybe a chance for them to take advantage of the undersized blocker, Radomski, on the outside. Ian Smith gets us started. Great pass from Samaras. Back ball, Grigo, and Grigo absolutely pounds it down the line. And he had no words to exchange to the net there, which makes me think he is going to be all business in this third set as they try to close it out.
Great pass by your libero there on a pretty good serve to start the game from Endicott.
Yeah, Tommy Samaras has really impressed me through set 2 and obviously early in set 3 with that first ball. He's been quite sharp. Roman on the outside, now passing. Reaches high, tip, picked up by Radomski. Legros flings it back to Grigo, and Grigo forces it through. It's kept alive, and it is whistled dead on a lift. I know it got caught in someone's platform, but a great transition attack from Grigo. Coach Staple talked about him being important, and he's a 2-0-2 to start, earning both of Benedictine's early points. Roman passes again. Bick for Lipton. And Glenn, you want a nice long stick? And we're going to get around the campfire for some s'mores there.
Yeah. Smart play right there by Lipton.
Yeah, he's been very efficient on that Bick, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of that as well as featuring Felsetti on the right. Debbie enters, little cut shot to Samaras. Grigo goes up, and that is 3-0-3 to start. That one looked like more of an inside route than we've seen from Grigo on the pin.
Yeah, this new middle from Endicott is very, very concentrated on Benedictine's middle. He has not even made it out to a right side block yet.
And they're taking advantage. Grigo with 3 early kills, and now he's back to serve. He goes at Roman, high pass. They go all the way out. Felsetti reaches high, shoots it deep. Eric Roman was on the right side in sets 1 and 2. He's playing as the 0-1 now, and I think he has received every serve from the Eagles so far. There's a quality pass from Roman. He goes up to get it himself, and he paintbrushes that one a little bit deep. And for the third straight set, Glenn, we see one of the teams leading 5-1 early on with those frantic starts we've talked about. Endicott trying to slow the match down, gather themselves before they go back and receive.
This row has been a problem for Endicott.
It has been.
In both lineups.
Let's see if they can isolate middle Matt Cruz. Great pass. They go with the big again. Lipton forced a tip. Legros transition D-ball. Grigo swings it deep. First one he missed, but we've seen more of that Bick, and maybe it is a way to keep using Cruz as an option, but allow Lipton to do the attacking.
Hold that middle long enough to get some of the pins involved.
Absolutely. Let's see what they do with Felsetti here. He heads out to the right.
Another great pass.
That's a great high reach, a heavy swing, and another deep tool off Felsetti. Is it him not pressing his hands down enough and his palms are too up that these deep tools keep occurring?
Looks to me like he's such a big jumper. He's actually getting underneath the ball on the way up and kind of just helping it stay high.
Rafa Robert returns as a D-spec for Eric Roman, who's playing the front row here. And Radomski, after the big tool swing, is back to serve. Radomski with a great ball on. Kegemeyer handles. He goes back. Oh, Felsetti. What an angle.
What an angle.
Thumb down. Yeah, I mean, we knew he was a dynamic athlete, and if they can get him more volume on the right side, it could be a difference maker in this third set.
Interesting that they set him high when he plays middle, and that ball had some tempo to it.
Yeah, absolutely. He might even want a little bit higher, but he certainly did a good job making it work. Matt Cruz, great serve in. Goes out. Good close from Kasperzik. That's a great blocking lineup up there. They show it again. Deep throw. Robert unable to pick it up. Heads up by Klemish. He's going against a great size block, and he just made a smart decision with that one. Chase Olsen back to serve. Great front row rotation. Lipton with a good pass. They go back to Felsetti again. He reaches high, snaps high. Transition D-ball. Great dig from Kegemeyer. And Klemish finishes deep in the court. And we're at 7-3. Will Perry up off the bench trying to tell his teammates to settle in and stay in control, because right now you don't want this one to get out of control as the score is actually 8-3. Olsen, great serve. Lipton, great pass. They push it out to him. It looked like Lipton was on a gap style ball. Debbie had set a go ball all the way out to the pin, and you can't have misconnections like that down 8-3 and 2-0 in set score.
Yeah, they don't look like themselves right now. Timeout Endicott here.
An early timeout, and I'll tell you what, let's play a little role play here. If you're in the Endicott huddle, what message are you sending your team right now?
I think it's about, hey, we got here because we did all the work. You know, you've put in the time all year. Take a deep breath, 1 point at a time. I'm not sure right now if I was coach, the Endicott coach, that this lineup was the right switch per se. But you got to live with it at this point, right? We got to grind it out 1 point at a time, and we'll see what happens. They're a veteran team, so I don't think they're going to give up.
Absolutely. And if I'm Coach Staple, I'm encouraging my team to not get too ahead of themselves. It's their first NCAA tournament. They're obviously excited to be here. They're playing great volleyball, but it's important not to count your chickens before they hatch from the eggs. And making sure that you keep doing the same things that have gotten you off to this great start. Great scrappy defense. Grigo taking much better swings in the second set and forcing Endicott to be uncomfortable with some of those offensive choices is important. So let's see if they stay settled in and focused as they lead here in the third set.
Serving for Benedictine in 9-3 in the third set, number 16, Chase Olson.
Chase Olson enters. Great ball on a Lipton. There's Felsetti reaching up high, but a great block touch to a dig. Transition from Klimish. Catches Lipton. We have a transition deep dump picked up by Kegebine. Debbie gets there. Lipton reaches high, goes against all three. Olson makes the dig. LeGros with the backside D-ball. Denied by Lipton and Kasperzik. And Lipton lets him know to keep it, and the official will let Lipton know to keep his thoughts to himself and not send them through the net. Rotation 2 receive for Benedictine here. LeGros still in the front row, and like we've talked about before, he's got his M2 and his big outside up, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a big second contact swing from here. Felsetti's going to look to gain at least 1 point at a time. Not sure what that lull in the action is about, but we've got whistle for serve, and the Endicott bench is certainly trying to keep their side energized. Great pass. LeGros to the outside. Debbie with a self-touch. Puts it up. Mallory uses the bump set. Lipton getting ahead of himself. Great high swing. There's a transition point. Lipton gives a look, but exchanges no words that time after the warning from the official.
This veteran team, man, I don't think they're going to go away. I think if they continue to put good serves in the court, they got a shot.
I think there might have been some flash photography going on behind us after the announcement from the PA, and that slows down Felicetti, and the Eagles have once again doubled up the goals, leading 10-5 with Mike LeGros back to serve. Rafa with the pass. Backside D-ball. Felsetti dug by Radomski. Grigo throws it up. Great press across by Kasperzik. LeGros back to Grigo. Swings high off Lipton. A nice transition swing. And Grigo has been at his best in this set as they look to close this match out.
Yeah, taking big swings in crunch time.
I think he's staying a lot more patient getting up the court and using his athleticism to close even when there is pace. Robert with the pass. Debbie, and there it is. We see him go chest up again, forcing his middle into the power tip with a set trailing off the net. Felsetti with a nice dig. Debbie with the dump. Oh, well-placed transition dump. Always scores at a better rate than the serve receive. Well done by Debbie to find a way for his team to score.
I like it.
Roman re-enters for Rafa Robert, giving them some more size on the outside. Bryn Lipton back to serve, and we're in rotation 1, which we've seen Benedictine struggling at times this year, or this match. Lipton serve sent deep.
Making it easy on Benedictine right now, not forcing them to earn points.
And the tough thing is, Endicott does not have a whole lot of time. They've got to make some ground up, so they can't be swallowing as many service errors as they are. Klimish enters. Good pass from Lipton. Pace to the pin. Roman throws it deep. Lefty. And too deep with that left hand. Lipton takes the credit for the poor receive. A little discussion about what the call was, and we've settled on staying without, and Benedictine leads 13-6 now. Good ball in. Kegebine with the pass. Felsetti on the D, swings high. Tommy Samaris with the dig. And I think that was our first BIC we've seen from Benedictine.
I think so as well.
And hopefully that
In a
doesn't.
rotation where he's serving, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope that doesn't shy them away from using it, because even though it missed, it wasn't by much, and there was not a block up
They
there.
play a bunch of defensive specialists across the back row at times, so I think it kind of removes the Bic from being an option, but it was a good swing.
Absolutely, especially in transition. Nice choice by LeGros there. Ian Smith enters. Great aggressive ball. They stay in system. Radomski swings high, chops down the line. Great ball.
Not a ton of attempts, but just a really smart swing there.
Yeah, and he looks excited about it. He's celebrating with the bench, and I'm not sure if it's something they talked about or worked on, but he's certainly thrilled with his own swing there, and rightfully so. Tim Folliard enters. Roman handles with hands. They go to the Bic again, and another great Bic swing from Bryn Lipton. He's almost been more efficient from the Bic than he has from the front row tonight.
Yeah, not hitting against four hands every time either.
Certainly makes it easier. If there's a time to go, Debbie's serve seems like a great one. Roman and Falsetti in the front row holding down the pin blocks. Great pass from Vasquez. They go to the outside. Falsetti with the block, covered, and Grigo with another dunk. It's got to be a staple of his game, just going up over top of the block. He's so physical.
Yeah, lots of big hands, big tips, using his size to his advantage.
Grigo enters the float. Passed well by Roman. Falsetti inside. Great dig by Vasquez. A little tight on the bump set from Samaris there. Going for hands, missed deep, but once again, they're making Endicott earn by keeping balls alive. Both Vasquez and Samaris really impressing me with their defensive ability to read and keep balls alive. Roman jump serves, good pass from Radomski. Back one slide, tipped but rejected by Lipton, covered. Samaris takes the set after some discussion. Rolls in, Mallory with the dig. DiBenedetto squares up to the net. The set comes off again. And Olsen, great transition go ball run. Great set from Mike LeGros.
Love seeing that. That was set at around 8, 9, 10 feet there too. Good to see.
Absolutely. Mike LeGros is LeGrosing on me through this match. He's run a lot of balance. He's getting Grigo going. He's keeping the middles involved, taking advantage of Tim Folliard when the block hasn't respected him. He's really impressed me with his play today.
Yes.
Radomski back to serve as the Eagles lead 16-9. Lipton with another quality pass. They go backside to Falsetti. That one was just a little too low. He was elevating past that ball. Never had a chance to get a good swing on it and finds the tape instead. Radomski at the line. Been super consistent with his topspin. Enters another good one. Lipton, pass about 12 feet off. Gets it back, swings high, challenges Samaris with the dig. LeGros gets there with the bump set, and just a bit over. If that's the only mistake he makes tonight, and you're Coach Christian Stable, you can live with that.
Absolutely. That was a tough ball. Ball's got to be dug off the net a little bit more.
Yeah.
Might be the first mistake that Libero's made.
Absolutely, especially since set two. He has been on fire for these last 70 points. Matt Cruz enters a nice ball. LeGros bump sets again, a little tight. Klemish goes high to challenge. It looked like Klemish had caught the net on his follow-through. The down ref had Endicott in, but our up ref, Rebecca Johannes, overrules saying it was Klemish who caught it on the follow-through. I think that's a correct call as well. Glad to know they're able to communicate and get it right. Cruz enters another tough float serve. Samaris forces LeGros across. He flings it back for the D. Kasperzik and Lipton combine, but it's self-covered by Grigo. Back out to Klemish. He goes high again. Cruz digs, but not the guy you want back there digging in left back from the looks of it, and unable to handle. Endicott with a third swing side out, I believe. Nice job by them keeping the ball alive, even off some nice block touches by the goals.
Yeah, that's the risk of middles playing back row.
Lipton handles well. A float ball for Kasperzik, well connected with, but Grigo with a great dig. LeGros with a poor dump. Debbie goes up, right hand only. Keeps it alive. It's kept alive by Benedictine as well. Let's see if he goes back. Oh, He does go backside. Great swing from Falsetti. They give him enough room to reach.
I wonder what the weather's like up there.
I don't know, but we'll never know unless we get on a ladder at one point. And Glenn, I was happy to see DiBenedetto make that switch to going with the one hand. It kept his middle in rhythm and got a good swing even though the dig was made. Klemish, great swing into Bowman's corner. Really nice job. If we were to chart every kill that happened in this gym tonight, I would say probably 30 or 34% of them are into that back right region. LeGros with the serve. Robert handles. They go to Lipton and Grigo.
Big block.
Holy cow. Man, they talk about the Midwest bounce on frog jump volleyball, and Grigo introduced Bryn Lipton back to the Midwest where he's originally from on that block.
That's a big boy.
It certainly is.
It's getting to that time of the match right here.
It certainly is. And if there's ever a time to start going, it's got to be now for Endicott. So he is going to have Bryn Lipton back to serve, and let's see if he can build some momentum. The Benedictine receive has been great all night. He gets him out of system with the ball on Klemish. High ball for Grigo. Lefty on the outside. He doesn't connect well, and it goes a little deep. And the Endicott bench is trying to build some energy for their men on the floor right now.
This is that row. This has been a tough row for Benedictine tonight.
Lipton goes with another high ball, and that one catches the net, and a flea set out of rotation one is not what you wanted for the goals if you're trying to come back in this one still. Klemish deals. Lipton with another great pass. Float ball for Kasperzek, and he catches it deep. A nice swing. Better connections for him with DiBenedetto towards the end of the set right now.
Endicott playing kind of a reverse style. Slow in the middle, fast to the pins.
That's just the way they do it in Beverly. Just the way they do it in Beverly. Ian Smith delivering the topspin. Ball in, slightly out of system from Samaras. But LeGros does not feel the same. He says we can stay in tempo, we can stay in system. And the faith him and Grigo have in each other to run that pace when you can't see your right side, a lot of trust in that relationship.
Yeah, you can tell they've played together for a while.
Absolutely. Tim Folliard back to serve as the Eagles lead 22-15. He enters the float. It goes deep. Roman jumped. It was above his head, and he knew it was going deep. And great look from him there. 22-16. Rotation one. Falsetti's back live. Let's see if they take advantage of having his size on the right side and athleticism with a transition swing. Great pass from Vasquez. They run Olsen. Man, what a great pass from Kyle Vasquez there. I mean, what more can you want? You bring him in to stabilize receive, and he has been excellent all night.
Yeah.
Grigo floats one in. Great pass from Kegebine. Backside to Roman. Oh, scoop dig! Absolutely beautiful. Grigo goes short. Roman handles. Debbie now dishes. He goes Bick to Lipton, and Lipton finds it. Another great kill on the Bick.
Yeah.
Great job.
Filling all the lanes there. They haven't really set Cruz yet in the middle.
No, they have not utilized him as much, and it might be a great change of pace, especially with the reads Tommy Samaras is making on the Endicott pins. He is keeping ball after ball alive with impressive dig. Pass from Vasquez. Back one squeeze, dug by Roman. Out of system set from Lipton. Falsetti tips high and deep. Vasquez digs it out. And another transition one for Olsen. You say it all the time. Hardest working man in show business. Olsen is working hard to get available.
Yep. In that first tempo, Endicott just looks uncomfortable defending it. They don't run middle offense that way.
Absolutely. And it's tough when you don't see it in your practice gym every day. It's tough to simulate the kind of pace and the amount of volume they're using in transition from their middles with the pin-heavy goal offense.
That's point.
On match point, George Chapel's going to take his last time out, try to inspire his team here, and we'll take a short break before we come back to you for the end of this one. We are back to you live at the Salem Civic Center for potentially the final point of the day as Coach Chapel looked to inspire his team, who needs to push for at least 7 straight to keep this alive. Martin Radomski, an extremely consistent and aggressive server for the Eagles.
Got to feel comfortable back there now.
Absolutely. Why not go for it all? He does, but Lipton with a great pass. They run Falsetti on the right. He sneaks it underneath the arms of Chase Olson, and now they need to push 6 straight.
Middle in the back row playing defense here, too.
It's going to be a lot to ask, but he's been an effective server. It might be about him making a first contact on an attack back from Klimish. Samaras thrown out of system. Grigo steps in, and he is called for the double, and rightfully so. That was not his best moment tonight. Maybe the only mistake he's made in this third set, though.
Yes.
Now 24-19. The goals look to continue to push. They enter. Samaras with another pass. Olsen stuffed by Kasperzik, but kept alive. Samaras with the high ball. Klimish closes on it. Swings hard angle and just wide. And all of a sudden we're at 24-20. And Coach Staple is not happy with whatever is going on. I wouldn't be surprised to see an early timeout from him here, but it looks like he's got the trust in his team to take at least one more. Cruz enters another float. Samaras handles. Goes to Klimish. Klimish uses Falsetti into the antenna, and that is it. Benedictine with their first NCAA tournament win and their first NCAA tournament match, and they are going on to the Elite Eight, Glenn.
Wow. Wow. Lots of physical play. Very impressed with how Benedictine handled themselves, how they controlled the ball. They got better throughout the match. Their libero play was phenomenal.
Tommy Samaras really, really impressed me today. He's not a guy we've heard a lot about, but certainly a guy who's important to what they do from a serve receive and defensive aspect. They make the opposing team work for every swing they're going to take.
And the big fella takes a lot of clutch swings for them. He did a good job, some big blocks.
Absolutely, and I think it's important for us to recognize this senior class from Endicott in both Bryn Lipton and Gabe Felicetti and a couple others like Justin Kegebine. This is a group that had not seen a lot of success at the NCAA tournament level before they had arrived, even with all the appearances. But they have certainly launched Endicott onto the map as one of the programs who is a national contender and not one who is just an automatic qualifier because of a conference that isn't as strong as some others.
Yeah, Coach Chapel did a great job with this group.
And they've got a lot of good youth and a lot of reason to look forward for exciting future seasons, even as Lipton finishes up his career and Falsetti contemplates returning for a potential 5th year for himself.
Yeah. Be exciting to see. You know, as a head coach, we always wonder what recruiting classes are going to look like. And then, you know, with everything that's gone on the last couple of years, now you wonder who's coming back.
Yeah. Benedictine celebrates as they put their name up on the bracket. And if you enjoy today's broadcasts and matches, I'll tell you you're going to enjoy tomorrow even more. We've got 4 matches once again at 12, 2:30, 5, and 7:30. And let's do a quick rundown. At the noon, we've got Carthage versus Messiah. East meets West once again. Then that'll be followed up by Dominican Vassar, which a lot of people have predicted as one of the best matches you'll see in this tournament, and we're getting it as a quarterfinal. That'll be your 2:30. Your 5 o'clock, you've got Southern Virginia versus Wentworth Institute of Technology. A lot of power at the pins in that one.
Very excited for that match.
And our nightcap, we'll see tonight's victors, Benedictine, take on Lancaster Bible. And Glenn, interestingly enough, that'll be Lancaster Bible's first match in over a month after some scheduling conflicts and some COVID protocol run-ins.
Yeah, the NEAC, the conference that they play in, kind of dissolved this year a little bit and took some matches. Their head coach did a great job of getting the matches, and they just didn't have any luck here at the end of the year, you know, getting matches played. But they had done enough. They had some really nice wins to be the 2 seed going into the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. So, folks, if you enjoyed today's ball and today's commentary, we were thrilled to have you, and we suggest you come back tomorrow and check it out some more.
Anybody who works at Pizza Hut or Wendy's is listening, you can send them over to the hotel.
Absolutely. We're staying in the Roanoke. Don't worry about the room number. We'll figure that out later. Thanks for hanging out, folks. I have been Rob Wingert here with Glenn DeHaven, and we look forward to hanging out with you guys again tomorrow.
Have a good night.